What's up, VC? I'm back with another video. This is a new series I'm going to be starting. It was actually suggested to me by a friend of mine who I just recently found out started watching my videos. Yeah, kind of freaks me out a little bit that somebody I know in person watches my videos, which it shouldn't, because, you know, I don't care if a bunch of random people all around the world that I don't really know in person watch my videos, but as soon as I found out one person that I do know started watching them, kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it's all good. I'm not going to stop making videos. But anyway, she suggested that I start like a favorites video series, kind of. So I'm going to try to do one of these every month from now on my channel. I'm going to go ahead and do this one as June of this year because it is the middle of July. So I'll just wait till the end of July and then do July. So what this is, you know, some albums that I either had in my collection already or just picked up, and I ended up liking the whole albums. You know, most of these albums I knew a couple songs off of them, but hadn't listened to the whole albums, and I really enjoyed all these. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I'll leave a link to a song or two from each album down below, so you can check them out if you've never heard of these bands or whatever. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. First album, picked this up at Goodwill a while back. Like I said, knew two songs off of here, Everything About You and Cats in the Cradle. It's Ugly Kid Joe's America's Least Wanted. Mainly bought it for those two songs because that's all I'd heard, and then listened to it, and it's a fantastic album all the way through. Just really rocked. You know, by the name, you wouldn't think that they'd actually be a good band. You'd think they'd be one of those like comedic bands or whatever. Just, yeah, but it's actually a really good album, so that one I really enjoyed. This next one's going to kind of shock you because it is a Dokken album, but I had only listened to it one time prior to picking it off the shelf and listening to it again. It is Erase the Slate. It's the album that has Reb Beach on guitar. It's a fantastic album. You know, I just never really gave it a whole lot of attention. I bought a lot with a bunch of Dokken CDs so I could finish my Dokken discography. But I only listened to a couple of them one or two times because just really didn't have any interest in anything that didn't have George Lynch on guitar. But more recently, I've been getting into the stuff without George. There's a lot of great music. But this album really rocked. I mean, the title track, Erase the Slate, and then you got Maddest Hatter, Voices of the Soul, what else? Little Brown Pill, which is pretty good. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. And then this is another album that's probably going to shock a bunch of you. It's Ozzy Osbourne's The Ultimate Sin. I just recently picked this up. It's been on my want list for a long time. But the only two songs I had known off here was The Ultimate Sin, the title track, and Shot in the Dark, which are great songs, but the rest of the album just rocks, and I didn't know that. You know, I was just going to buy it for those two songs, but when I listened to this, I've listened to this thing probably 20 times in the last month. You know, the song Killer of Giants was one of my favorites. Thank God for the Bomb, Secret Loser, Lightning Strikes, Never. Just the whole album rocks. So definitely one of my favorite Ozzy albums. You know, my favorite with out of anything past Randy, Bark at the Moon's my favorite album, but this is my second album, also with Jakey Lee. You know, all the stuff with Zakk Wylde I've never really big into. All the stuff with Randy, you know, I love that the most, but Jakey Lee is definitely my second favorite Ozzy guitarist and one of my top 10 guitarists ever. So that was a great album. Then the next one, this is Axe Nemesis. Bought this a while back, you know, really didn't give it a whole lot of attention. I'd heard of Axe and listened to it, and it was a good album, but then I've been listening to it over and over recently, and I just love this album all the way through. You know, the title track, Heat in the Street's pretty good, and then you got Young Hearts, I Think You'll Remember Tonight, which is a great ballad type song. Girls, 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 Eagle Flies Alone, which is another type ballad. Foolin' Your Mama Again, Masquerade. This whole album just really rocks. Great southern rock stuff. So if you never checked this out, definitely give it a listen. And this next one, this is an album I'd been looking for a while, and then found it a while back and showed it in one of my big hauls from Austin, from Waterloo Records. It's Yesterday and Today's second album, Struck Down. Like I said, I just picked it up because I needed it for my Y&T collection, but hadn't really heard it before. But after listening to it, this is a great album. You know, just some 70s hard rock stuff. The title track, Struck Down's good, and then Dreams of Egypt was one of my favorite songs, and they have a song called Stargazer, which is pretty good. It's just a really good album. So if you haven't heard that, definitely check that one out. This next one, this was a blind buy a while back, also at Waterloo Records. It is Billy Thorpe's album Stimulation. I said in the haul that, you know, I was expecting it to be some type of 80s synth pop type stuff or whatever, like his early stuff, which I really enjoy, like the Children of the Sun stuff. But this is totally different. This is just a rocking album. It really does rock. You know, the title or the first song on here, Just the Way I Like It's really good. Let Me Out of Here, the song Stimulation's really good. You Touched Me. It's just a really good album, and he is a very unknown guitarist from what I've seen. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anybody in the VC show Billy Thorpe stuff. So yeah, definitely check this out. Then we're down to 2 more. This next one is Judas Priest, Sin After Sin. Bought this a while back because I got a deal for it on eBay. But never really listened to it. But after listening to this is my favorite Judas Priest album that I've heard. Haven't heard their whole discography, but I have heard quite a few of their albums, and this is my favorite. My favorite songs on here, of course, Diamonds and Rust. I think their version definitely blows the original Joan Baez version away. Last Rose of Summer, Call for the Priest, Here Comes the Tears. Just the whole album really rocks. So definitely check out that one. I'm sure everybody in the VC's already heard this, but it's a really good album. Then this next one, this is one I've had for about a year now, and you know, I listened to it one time before and it was a little bit too heavy for me. But then after going back and re-listening to it a couple times, I really am starting to enjoy it a lot. It's Heaven and Hell's album, The Devil You Know. If you know anything about this, Heaven and Hell was pretty much Black Sabbath, but with Vinny Appice on drums, I believe, or was it Carmine? I think it's Vinny. But anyway, bought this in a Dio lot a while back. And, you know, just kind of filed it away. Never really listened to it. Like I said, listened to it one or two times. But after listening to this is just a great album. I mean, like I said, it was a little too heavy at first, but after listening to it, I've been getting more into it. So yeah, definitely check this out if you like the Dio era Sabbath stuff. This sounds a lot like it. And, you know, that's what I was expecting when I first bought it. I was expecting it to sound just like Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell. But yeah, it's really heavy, but it's not bad. This could have been a Black Sabbath album, in my opinion. It's way better than anything else I've heard by Black Sabbath, you know, after Dehumanizer, really. All the recent stuff with Ozzy, 13, and all that, I wasn't a big fan of. But this album actually rocks. So yeah, let me know what you think of this. If you want me to keep making these haul or favorites videos, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for watching.